Welcome to our Chakra Balancing Yin class, where I will be guiding you through the next 60 minutes of Yin Asana guided pranayama and meditation. So I'd like you to find a nice comfortable position on your yoga mat and grabbing any types of props that you have available to you. If you don't have any yoga specific props, then a couple big pillows should do just fine. So we are actually going to start in a nice, easy seated position today. So seated meditation rather than lying down. So get yourself comfortable. If you have any issues in the lower back, it's probably going to feel nice to support your sit bones, either with rolling up the back of your mat a couple times or with a cushion or a pillow. So adding some support underneath both sit bones, tilting the pelvis forward, and crossing the legs. Option 2, slide the back up against a wall or some kind of support like the back of your couch, just so you can keep a nice erect spine. I want you to feel a sense of complete grounding as your sit bones are rooted down towards the floor. You feel the connection. The knees are relaxed, dropping down to either sides. The belly is soft. The spine is nice and long. You visualize stacking up one backbone at a time, all the way from the tailbone to the very back of the neck. Once you reach the cervical spine, I'd like you to take your shoulders and shrug them up towards your ears. Feel that sensation and then pull the shoulders down the back. So create lots of space between the shoulders and the ears. The very top of the head is reaching up high towards the sky. The chin gently lowers, lengthening the back of the neck. Relaxing the tip of the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. The cheeks are soft. The eyes rest back into their sockets. I'd like you to just start to acknowledge the fact that physically you're here on your mat. Listening to the sound of my voice, allowing for me to guide you. Then I'd like you to check in with the headspace you brought to the class. Does the headspace match the physical space? Or are you mentally someplace that's nowhere near these four corners of your mat? And then see if you can acknowledge that without judging yourself for it. It's human nature. Our tendency likes to pull us away from the present moment. Through practice, we can cultivate a sense of presence by being mindful. In order to do that, we have to pick some kind of anchor that's going to keep us pulled back to the present moment when we do feel our thoughts start to drift away. Today, I'm going to give you that anchor, and it's going to be a color. Whatever color you choose is going to be chosen because it's most closely associated with a chakra where you may be experiencing an imbalance. As you're sitting here with your eyes closed, I'm just going to read you off some characteristics of each chakra. So our chakras lie all the way along the spine. They're just high energy centers that experience different frequencies or vibrations, and each is associated with a different color. So right at the base of the spine, you have your Muladhara or your root chakra. This is associated with feelings of security, grounding, and your overall survival instinct. Bright, vibrant color of ruby red. Moving up, right above that space between the navel and the pelvic floor, you have the sacral chakra. This is associated with our emotions, intimacy, codependency, and sexuality. Bright, vibrant color of orange. Moving up higher to the space right around the navel, the belly button. Manipura chakra, associated with our willpower, vitality, energy, and ego. It's the bright, vibrant color of yellow. And then moving up higher to the space in the chest, Anahata, our heart chakra, associated with our feelings of compassion, ability to be compassionate towards others, hope, and love. So our relationships with others, and is the bright, vibrant color of green. Moving up even higher to the throat, we have the Vishuddha. This chakra is the bright, vibrant color of royal blue. This is associated with our ability to express ourselves, communication, healing, and creativity. Up between the eyebrows, or right above the space of the eyebrows, is the third eye, Ajna chakra. This is our intuition, psychic senses, and also clairvoyance. But for most of us, it's our ability to connect with our intuition, that little voice inside of us that we often cover up with other people's opinions. Up higher to the very top of the head is our crown chakra, Sahasrara. This is associated with our feelings of understanding, cosmic consciousness, and enlightenment. Bright color of white. So again, you have, starting from the bottom and working our way up, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and white. So whichever one resonated most with you, and you say that there might be some emotional imbalances you're experiencing in that chakra, I'd like you to visualize that color throughout the duration of the class. Every time you breathe in, I want you to visualize that your breath is that color, the most beautiful, vibrant hue of that color, and it spreads throughout the entire body. And as you exhale, I want you to visualize that you're clearing out and releasing whatever negative emotions that may be associated with that chakra. We're going to do a guided microcosmic orbit breathing meditation using that color in our nice, easy seated position. This is a variation of the microcosmic orbit. The microcosmic orbit is a gathering and circulating of chi energy, but we are just going to take a simpler variation and just use our breath. So I'd like you to draw your attention to the tailbone, the base of the spine. Just take a nice natural breath in and a natural breath out. And as you take your next inhale, I want you to visualize that color of your chakra that you're working on. Pull that color up from the base of the spine all the way up towards the middle back, between the shoulders, the back of the neck, around the back of the head, and to the very top, the crown. Hold the color there, see it. And as you exhale, pull the color and the breath down, the face, the chin, the chest, the belly. It wraps around the torso towards the tailbone again. Hold it at the tail. Inhale, lift the breath, pull it all the way up the spine, towards the shoulders and upper back, back of the neck, top of the head. Hold it there. Exhale, release the color down the face, the neck, the chest, the belly. It wraps around. Hold it at the base of the spine. And inhale, pull the breath all the way up. Shoulders, neck, back of the head. Hold at the top. Exhale, release down to the chin, chest, belly. It wraps around. One more time. Hold at the tailbone. Inhale, pull the breath all the way back up the spine. Hold at the top of the head. Exhale, release all the way down the front. It wraps around. Hold at the tailbone and release from the breathing exercise. Returning to a natural breath. Nice, slow, deep inhalations and exhalations. Reminding yourself that every breath you take should represent that color. And then slowly just like you to drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. Feel a stretch in the left side of your neck. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, drop the head all the way back, exposing the throat. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, drop the left ear towards the left shoulder, stretching out the right side between the shoulder and the ear. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, drop the chin all the way towards the chest, lengthening in the back of the neck. Find a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just lift the head back up to neutral. Inhale, sweep both arms high, biceps next to the ears, reach for the sky. And as you exhale, release the hands down in front of you, uncross the legs, and find your way to tabletop with the hips stacked over the knees, shoulders over wrist. And from tabletop, you're just slowly going to release all the way down to the belly. So straightening out the right leg and then the left, coming down to the forearms as we prepare to take Sphinx pose. So Sphinx pose is a nice way to create some healthy compression in the lower lumbar. So you do want to feel some sensation in the lower back. It also helps to open up the chest and relax the shoulders backwards where we want them, helps with posture and combats the natural rounding of the shoulders as we age. So grabbing any props that you'll support underneath your chest. So you're lying down flat on your belly. I want you to bend your elbows. The elbows stay directly next to you, but bend the elbows and the forearms are down to the mat. The elbows start directly underneath the shoulders, palms down. If this is too much intensity on the lower back, I'd like you to take your elbows and walk them out forward, more towards the top of the mat. That's going to lessen the extension in the spine. If you like some support, you can slide a bolster or a pillow underneath the space between the chest and the mat, underneath the armpits. So between the space of the torso and the mat, and between the space of the armpits and the biceps. So get yourself comfortable. If you have a block, it might feel nice to let the head hang forward and rest the forehead down to a block. Don't worry about engaging muscular strength to keep yourself lifted. I'd like you to go ahead and just shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. Relax the chest between the shoulders. Soften in the jaw, the face. Don't worry about keeping your head upright. You can drop the chin in, lengthen the back of the neck. And then do check in with the lower body. Chances are you're going to feel some kind of muscular engagement in the glutes or the hamstrings. Remember, we can't target that deep tissue, the fascia, the connective tissue, when our muscles are engaged. They're going to absorb all the stress. That's not what we want in this practice. So relax. Find stillness of the physical body. Return back to the breath. Slow inhales and exhales. Inhales and exhales. Nice deep breath in. The color spreads throughout the body. And exhale, soften and release. Every time you take a breath, you should notice your belly pressing out towards the mat. Every single time you exhale, you should feel the belly pulling in. Relax into the pose, let yourself drift off, continuing to breathe and focus on the color. slowly beginning to press the palms down into the mat, allowing the forearms and elbows to lift, and begin to walk the hands back towards the body and the hips all the way to the heels, taking a child's pose with your knees together if it's accessible to you. If at any time it just feels like too much pressure on the knees to have this deep knee flexion, go ahead and slide a pillow or a bolster underneath the space between the backs of the thighs and the calves, right underneath that space in the backs of the knees. Allow the spine to round. Enjoy the sensations of release all the way from the tailbone to the cervical spine. You can relax the arms down towards the feet, hands towards the toes, or you can bend the elbows and rest the head on the forearms like a little pillow. Find a couple deep breaths. Again, reconnecting with the color of whatever chakra it is you're experiencing an imbalance in. Just a reminder, red is for feelings of grounding, survival, our basic needs. Orange is for emotions, sexuality. Yellow is our ego and willpower. Green is our heart, love, and compassion. Blue is our ability to communicate, express our creativity, speak our truth, our voice. Purple is our intuition. And white is your cosmic consciousness, connection to something greater than yourself. Breathing in, hold to create space, and breathing out. I'd like you to take your left arm and go ahead and straighten it out in front of you. Press the left hand down just to create some space between the left arm and the mat. Thread the needle. I just want you to lift your head and your chest up a little bit. Take the right arm and slide it palm facing up underneath the chest, and the arm reaches underneath that left arm. Once you have it there, go ahead and rest the chest down onto that right arm. Heavy stress of our heart and long meridians. Notice the sensation, feeling it in that right shoulder, the space in the upper back. We're just going to take 10 deep breaths here. So allow yourself to settle in. We'll guide you through the first few. Inhaling for a count of 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Inhaling for 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhaling for 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Inhaling 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhaling to release. Soften. 4, 5. Pause. Continuing on your own, inhales, pulling the color in, spreading, feeling sensations of filling up, expansiveness. Exhales, sensations of letting go, softening, surrender. Pressing the left hand down again, creating space between the left arm and the mat. Lift the chest, slide the right arm out and straight forward. So bicep is next to the ear. That right arm is reaching forward. Press the right hand down, create space between the chest and the right arm, just enough to slide the left arm underneath the chest, palm facing up, left hand reaching underneath the right bicep, and then lower the chest down. Noticing the rise and fall of your belly, pressing towards the mat, and coming back in as you exhale, letting yourself drift off for 10 rounds of breathing. slowly beginning to press the palm of the right hand down. Lift the chest and the arm just enough to slide the left arm out all the way straight in front. And then slowly walk the hands up until you're on your knees. Nice straight spine. And then you'll bring the hands down to the right, leaning onto the right hip, sweeping both heels around to face forward. So you're now in a seated position with the feet towards the front edge of the mat, finding some evenness in both sit bones. Again, you have the option to slide cushion or support underneath the seat, in between the seat and the mat. We're going to move into dragonfly. So I'd like you to just take your legs and separate them out until you feel a stretch in the inner thighs and groin. So you're widening out the legs to make a nice big V shape. And once you feel that stretch, go ahead and stop, reminding yourself that we are very used to pushing ourselves to our maximum limits and even past our maximum limits. In this practice, we're teaching ourselves how to take a step back, embrace sensations before they become really strong. So we just want to go to about 60% of our maximum depth. A little soft bend into the knees, maybe even some supports underneath the backs of the knees, especially if you're feeling really tight in the hamstrings. And then I encourage you to grab some kind of big pillow or bolster and set it in the space between the legs to support you as you forward fold. So we should feel a nice release in the spine here, a stretch in the backs of the legs, as well as a gentle tugging in the inner thighs and groin. So you just want to slowly, rather than pulling yourself forward, take your palms facing up, drop your chin to your chest, and gently rolling the spine down forward, feeling space between each backbone and breathing space all the way into the spine between the sit bones and the back of the neck. Relax, find some stillness. Notice sensations. Start to breathe. It's a great breath to practice a form of prana called Vyana prana. It's an outward radiating of breath or energy. Again, still focusing on that color representing the chakra and pulling it in with your breath. As you inhale, focus on pulling the breath of the color in through the belly button, allowing it to spread throughout the arms and the legs. As it exhales, or as you exhale, you feel the color and the breath come all the way back up towards the navel, and the body softens. Inhale, pull the breath in. It spreads throughout the belly, the chest, the legs, and the arms. As you exhale, it all comes back to the center. Pull the belly button in towards the spine. Inhale, belly expands, the breath spreads. The body's lit up by the color. And as you exhale, feel it soften. Inhale, it radiates out. Exhale, you pull it back in. Continuing on your own, every exhale you may notice a gentle softening. Maybe the top of the head reaches a little bit closer towards the floor. You should feel a gentle stretch all the way along the back side of your body, the backs of the legs and the back. Palms stay facing up, no gripping or tugging. Every single muscle in the body remains relaxed. slowly beginning to deepen the breath, noticing the physical body's response to your breathing. And as you take your next inhale, slowly rolling up, stacking one vertebrae at a time till you find an erect spine. Removing any props from underneath the backs of the knees, slowly bending the knees, taking the feet out to either sides of the mat and allowing the knees to drop over to the right and left, windshield wipering the legs. Taking this a few times, back and forth. And then you'll go ahead and stretch your right leg out forward. We're just going to take the left foot and bring it back towards the left hip for half saddle. So you're bending the left knee and pulling the heel back towards the hip. You should feel a stretch in the quadriceps, so the front of the left thigh. Your left heel does not need to be touching your hip, so just go until you feel a sensation. Please avoid this pose if you experience any deep pressure in the knee joint. Grabbing your pillows or your bolster and setting them up directly along the length of the spine. So this will be a reclined saddle pose. Again, if you're already experiencing a lot of sensation, I'll encourage you to keep yourself seated upright. Option to slide a pillow or a bolster underneath the sit bones. And then you can grab that pillow or bolster and set it up underneath the length of the spine, directly above the sitting bones. Start to walk yourself back onto your forearms and then releasing vertebrae by vertebrae all the way down to your back. You will feel a deep stretch again in the quadricep, the left hip flexor, all along the abdomen. Breathe into that, experience sensations. Try to send that color, that chakra color, to the areas you're experiencing sensation. Inhales, it spreads. Exhale, you release and let go. Slowly beginning to press the elbows down to either side of the bolster or a pillow. Beginning to walk yourself back up, putting the weight onto the right hip, creating space so you can slide the left foot out to meet the right so both legs are straight, unbending the left knee. You might want to flex the left foot and press that foot forward. Feel a nice stretch in the left side of the leg as you extend the knee. And we prepare to take the other side. Bending the right knee, pulling the heel in towards the hip. Space is okay. Ideally, you would like the top of the foot down towards the mat. Don't worry about flexing the foot. Try to relax. Toe is pointed. Any props you need, acknowledging that each side of our body is different. And then you'll start to walk yourself down, elbows to either sides of the bolster or block or a pillow for the reclined variation. And if you're already feeling a lot of a sensation throughout the right hip and the quadricep, then please encourage yourself to stay upright and just relax in a seated position. Breathing, noticing, allowing, and just really allowing yourself to be. This is when we get a chance to kind of hang out with our authentic self. A little voice that resides inside of us that always knows our true wants and desires, but that we more oftentimes than not cover up with other people's opinions, our responsibilities, doing things for other people, and fulfilling roles. So this is time to explore who you truly are. Allow yourself to just be in the pose. I'll bring you back out of it in a few moments. pressing the elbows and forearms down, walking the hands and body, torso back up until shoulders are stacked over the hips, putting the weight on the left hip, creating space enough to slide the right leg out straight, unbending the knee. And then go ahead and flex the right foot and press the heel out forward. Feel the right leg engage. Just a little bit of lengthening sensation. Notice how as we stress the tissues, like we just did in the right hip and the lower spine, that the blood starts to return back to normal functioning. We attract blood and energy flow to the area we're stressing, and then you should embrace that release as you feel everything start to return back and spread. Maybe a little bit of tingling sensation in the joints and the limbs. And then go ahead and remove the bolster, take it out to the side, and just slowly release all the way down to your back. So making sure there's some props within arm's reach. We're going to take what's known as probably the deepest release for the entire spine and back in this practice and any other dynamic forms of yoga, and that is snail pose. So a couple contraindications to be mindful of here. Pregnancy, and this is technically an inversion, so if you have high blood pressure, glaucoma, any issues that would prevent you from flipping your feet over your head, which is essentially what we'll be doing, please avoid this pose. There is a modification you can take. It's not quite the same intention, but it does feel really nice. It is just legs up the wall. So you just scoot your sit bones, so scoot your butt all the way up against a wall, and then just sweep your legs all the way up high. So your back is on the floor and your legs are extended up, and you have that support behind the backs of the legs. But if you don't have any of those issues and you like to try this nice deep spinal release, you can go ahead and bring the hands to the lower back. Slowly as you can, start to sweep the feet up over the head. I like to call this a sloppy plow pose. So if you are familiar with plow, think about making this the most relaxed variation of plow you can. So the spine is rounded, just like we did in dragonfly a few poses ago. Nice rounded spine. You're not worried at all about getting your hips stacked over your shoulders. The hips fall where they may. The knees are comfortably bent and separated. The feet are relaxed. And then if you can grab without moving the head, so this is deep neck flexion. Please avoid rocking the head or moving it from right to left. But if you can grab a prop without moving the head or the neck, slide it underneath the middle back. That space between the middle back and the mat. And that's going to help just keep you there. This is also a pose that you can take against the wall as support. You should feel a stretch amongst all the tiny little ligaments or a stress along the spine. Breathe into the space. Chin is gently tucked into chest. You should feel a nice compression in the internal organs. Remind yourself that nothing is permanent. Situations, yoga poses, feelings, emotions. Even if this pose is uncomfortable for you, can you focus on your breath, anchoring you here to the present moment? Pulling yourself back with some nice deep breaths, bringing both hands to the lower back, pressing the forearms and elbows down towards the mat, as you slowly release down one vertebrae at a time. The tailbone will be the last thing to hit the mat. Once you feel the sit bones, go ahead and release both legs down, nice and soft. Stretch out the legs and then bend the knees. Pull them both up towards the chest, pressing the lower back down towards the mat, rocking a little bit from side to side. And then beginning to straighten the right leg, take it down to the mat. And then the left leg, take it down to the mat. Reach the arms out to the sides, palms facing up. Relaxing the entire back side of the body down to the mat. Preparing for a final Shavasana. Noticing the rise and fall of the belly and the chest with every breath you take. Total body scan, feet and toes are relaxed. Leg muscles are soft. Glutes melting down towards the mat. Nice straight spine. Feeling each backbone touch the mat. Shoulder blades folded underneath the back. Shoulders away from the ears, gently tucking the chin in towards chest to maintain length in the back of the neck. Do you treat this moment as if it were an obstacle to be overcome? Do you feel you have a future moment to get to that is more important? Almost everyone lives like this most of the time. Since the future never arrives, except as the present, it is a dysfunctional way to live. It generates a constant undercurrent of unease, tension, and discontent. It does not honor life, which is now and never not now. The future never comes, except as the present moment. So be aware as your mind tries to pull you away to the future or the past. See if you can accept the now. Relax. Don't treat this moment as an obstacle to be overcome. Embrace. Enjoy the moments of disconnect from anything that might be going on outside these four corners of the mat. Listen to the sound of the music or the sound of your own breath. I'll bring you back in a few moments. Hugging both knees up towards the chest after you put a little bit of movement back in the fingers and the toes. Take some natural organic movement. Maybe you gently rock the knees to the right and then to the left. Maybe a happy baby, bringing the biceps or arms to the inner knees and grabbing to the outsides of the feet as you bend the knees and pull them in towards the body. Slowly massaging the spine, deepening the breath. Slowly making our way over to rest on our left side to restore yin-yang balance. Fetal pose, resting the head or the cheek on the left bicep or forearm. Taking a moment to just notice how you feel. The heart rate's probably nice and slow. The body is calm. The thoughts are there, but no longer bothering you or feeling like incessant chatter. Decide that you're going to keep this feeling even when you leave the mat and the practice is over. And then also make the decision to let something go, something that showed up during the practice that really is stopping you from living in the now. It's making you believe that this moment is an obstacle to be overcome before you reach that make-believe place in the future. Decide to let it go, recognizing that this is the only moment that is real. It's the only time we have is in the now. And we'll seal in and release with a final sigh breath together. Taking a nice deep inhale through the nose, energizing, feeling expansiveness. Open up the mouth, nice deep release. Let something go. Thank you so much for tuning into the Chakra Balancing Yin class. From my heart to yours, namaste.